Good morning, LinkedIn. I hope everyone is great. We're going to get started in 2 minutes for our weekly planning session, the Get Results weekly planning session. I started it for job seekers, but it's not just for job seekers, it's for everyone. We all get inundated with way too much information, and we really need to be focused and settle. So if you're here with me today, please give me a like. I'd love to, see your comments or just your reactions. And again, we'll be started in a minute. Need to make sure I'm all set up here with the technology. Thank you for your patience too, as I've been getting familiar with this and learning as I go in imperfect action and trying to figure it out, although it's a pretty cool tool. I definitely like LinkedIn Live very much, and I'm looking forward to using it more in my future as well. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to share my screen with you. But again, if you're on the call with me, if you're joining me right now, please give me a like, any reaction. I just want to see what your reaction is right now. If you can like or just let me know that you are here. And then, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the comments as well. And we'll be starting. Yes, it's 10 o'clock. Time to get started already. All right, now let me share my screen with you. And we can get going here. All right. Here we go. This is our template that we follow every week to put together our plan. All right, so the first step is we need to just take a break. I don't know if you've had a crazy morning already. Maybe it hasn't been so bad, but let's just get present and create some mental white space for ourselves. You may have a lot on your mind already from the day starting or from the weekend carryover. What we're going to do is we're going to take 5 minutes to do a brain dump, get everything off of your mind. Our minds are not the best for storage. They're really meant for creativity, creating ideas and thinking, having the time to do that. But we need to clear our mind. Take the time right now. I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And what I want you to do is create that mental white space for you. Take a couple of deep breaths. Everything that is on your mind, get it off, put it on a clean sheet of paper, or you can put it in a Word document, but just get it off your mind because, again, our minds are not the best for storage. They're way better for creativity, and we want to give ourselves a break with that. And so all those unfinished tasks that are on your mind, just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes starting now. 2 minutes left. Please continue to get things off your mind. Put them somewhere else for now. They're not going to go anywhere. But you really want to free up your mind. That's our timer. Now we get to move to our next step, which is email. Email can feel like a huge burden, but it's a valuable tool in getting things done. I think we abuse it, unfortunately. We overuse it. We don't use it properly. We're going to take 5 minutes to take a step in the right direction with our email. What I want you to do is to jump into your inbox. Maybe you need to unsubscribe. Maybe you get way too many emails that you just don't need, and it's cluttering up your email. Or maybe you need to delete some emails. You haven't done that in a while and you just feel it's too cluttered. For you job searchers out there, you might be procrastinating on an email that you need to send to someone. You need to follow up, and regular follow-up is essential. And email is one of the ways that you can do that. It makes you stand out from other candidates when you're staying on top of the process and you are reaching out and you're showing your interest. If you're not a job seeker, I'm sure there's people that you are waiting to hear from, maybe on that project that you're working on. Go ahead, send them a follow-up email and just get that done. But you don't want your email, again, to be a weight. You don't want it to impede your productivity. Let's set the timer for our next 5 minutes, starting now, to jump into your inbox and clean it up. I also put a link in the comments to get on my email list so you get the materials from today. Check that out. We have 2 minutes left to keep on cleaning up our emails. Time for us to move on to our next step, which is a really important one as well. And often I get questions on this. Need to make sure I'm back on the screen. Okay, and I'm still sharing my screen. All right, great. All right, our next step is to set our goals for the week. Picture yourself Friday afternoon. Where do you need to be in order to feel really good about the week, to feel you accomplished a lot? What do you need to see? What are those results? And then what are the actions that you need to take in order to get those results? If you're doing a job search right now, maybe you're following up, you're trying to get an interview, or maybe you've had an interview and you're trying to get feedback. I often hear about that a lot as well. But you have to write down the goals in order for them to happen. That is key. So you have to write them down. You don't want to have too many goals for the week. I recommend about 3 to 5 and no more than that. And then also, if you do have time in the next 5 minutes, if you know right away what your goals for the week are, then I have a worksheet here that you'll receive. It's a blank worksheet, but it helps to plot out, okay, these are my 3 goals for the week or my 5 goals. I'm going to be working on this goal on Monday and Tuesday, and just to kind of plot it out and decide, and use your calendar as a weapon as well, in terms of like really make it an effective tool for you by blocking out the time that you are working on this goal. I'm working on this on Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It doesn't have to be a full hour either. It could be even 20 minutes, but you have to put it on your calendar and time block. That is critical to increase the chance of it happening. So I gave you a lot of stuff in there. But anyway, let's set the timer for our next 5 minutes. Again, what we're going to be doing is, I scrolled up too far. Sorry about that. We're going to set our needle moving goals for the week. And then if you have extra time, then plan on what your goals for each day are, starting now. And don't forget to get the materials from this session, I put the link in the comments to get on my email list. And you'll also get other resources as well as I come across them. Two minutes left. What are your goals? 3 to 5 goals for this week. All right, onward and upward. For our next phase for planning, we were just completed our goals for the week. What do we want to accomplish to feel productive this week? Now, the next phase is who do we need to talk with this week? Conversations are really important for our work and moving that forward. And then also, especially if you're doing a job search can be very isolating. And having those live conversations really helps you to get the results that you need in your job search. Again, use your calendar as the valuable tool that it is. Take advantage of it by blocking out time for those key conversations that you have to have. And I recommend at least 3 key prospect conversations. Who's a key prospect? Well, it depends on what the result is. What do you need in your search or on the project that you're working on? It depends, but who's the person that you need to talk with this week in order to get those results that you need? We'll take 5 minutes to do that, starting now. I'm also sharing my tip sheet to help you with connecting with others, make a game out of it, and I'll talk about it shortly after we have about 2.5 minutes left. I'll touch upon it with you. All right, our timer went off, so that 5 minutes is over. I did want to take a couple minutes to explain what I'm sharing with you right now. I mentioned it, but I don't want to just rush through and not spend some time on this. And what this is, I found in coaching individuals and working with them on their job search, or even just in your career, because you, in my opinion, you should always be connecting with others. You might, when I say connecting, I'm talking about networking. I changed it to connecting though, because I feel so many people cringe when they hear the word networking. They just don't like it. And when I refer to it as connecting, I think that's a better way to refer to it. Okay, so think of it as connecting, number one. And then here is my cheat sheet. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you. To make it fun, you should make it more of a game for yourself. And you really should have daily connection goals, especially for a job search. And when you refer to somebody, you get a point for that. When you have a virtual or face-to-face chat with someone, that's, you get points for that. And then when you actually have a established meeting with like either a search firm or a decision maker who's often a hiring manager, or maybe another contact that can help you, that is telling you about a specific job opening, that's a good thing. And then of course you get points for your every job interview that you have. But that's what this sheet is. You will get this when you get on my email list, and that goes out with the materials. But I wanted to really touch upon this. You need to be connecting with people regularly. It has to be a habit that you should establish if you are doing a job search. And if you're not doing a job search, still to help you to be better in your career, in your work, regularly connecting with people is important. Okay, and you hear some snoring in the background. That's my dog who's close by. It's not me. All right, great. Let's go ahead. I'm going to stop the share for a second so I can get us back to our template that we're following. And I can share that with you. Okay. Bear with me for a second here. All right. Now we're going to have a little bit more time in our planning. I have 25 minutes listed here because I think you should spend about 20 to 30 minutes ideally on a regular basis looking at your search documents. And if you are doing a job search, and of course, if you're working on a project, then, you know, look at your key documents and update them, because so many of our documents are fluid. They're living, and you want them, and especially in a job search, to get that interview has to show how much of a good match you are regarding that job posting. So, so we're going to set the timer. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to look at your LinkedIn profile, your resume, your cover letter. You could even use this time to apply for a new job. Maybe you saw a new posting that you're really excited about. And if you're not doing a job search, then you can use this time to work maybe on your project plan for your work project. On your mark, get set, go. And we'll get started on that. We are about halfway through. You have 5 more minutes left. Check for typos as well. It's easy to miss. You'll want to start to wrap up as we have less than a minute left. Time for our next step. Well, actually, before I move you to the next phase, I needed it. There was a question that I received, and it was, how do we connect with employees at a company that we're targeting? Very good question. Leverage LinkedIn as much as possible. LinkedIn is a great tool. Number one, in your job search, you have to have a target company list, because that way you're being focused in your job search and intentional. If you're just replying to job postings as they pop up, you're not going to be as effective. It's like you're being more reactive and you're not being focused and intentional in your search. So number one, you should have a target company list. And then the question is, okay, again, how do I connect with an employer or employees that work at that company? Look at your current connections that you have. Who are your first degree connections? Maybe you have a first degree connection that works at that company. You might not, though, and that's okay, because you can look at the company in LinkedIn. You can also look at the employees that they have there that are on LinkedIn and see, maybe there's someone who's at the company who's in the role that you're interested in. Reach out to that person, see if they would have like 10 minutes to talk with you, and let them know that you're interested in this company. You're looking at companies in this industry, and maybe if they have some time to talk with you, just for a phone call, a short phone call, maybe they might know of an opening there. But you should start with making the connection. Maybe there's a way that you can help that person with your connections. To make it mutually beneficial is a good thing to do, because again, in connecting with people, I'm sure there's a way that you may be able to help someone, even by introducing them to someone that will help them. And then maybe they can help you to connect with someone who could help you down the road with your search. So hopefully that answers your question. But again, look at your first degree connections, look at the company, and look at the employees that they have listed on LinkedIn, and see who you can connect with that way. And I'm happy to schedule a one-on-one chat if you're really struggling with that, because that's a key component of a job search. And it also helps you to be more effective in your work too, by connecting with others. The tip that I wanted to focus on as well, my new tip for today, is make sure you go into your LinkedIn profile and look at your settings, because you want to make sure your settings are what you want. I think people forget about their settings. And let's say you are doing a job search right now, you are currently working somewhere, you don't want your employer to be aware of it, so you're doing a confidential job search. Make sure you go into LinkedIn and you have your settings the way you want them to be, just so if you don't want your employer to find out that you're looking for a job, you need to do that. I do encourage you, though, to be transparent. And what I mean by that is, if you're unhappy at your current position and you're looking, let them know. Talk with them. See if there's a way to improve your situation. Have a candid conversation with your boss. Often I hear, oh, Christine, I've done that many times. It's not going to get better. Again, I encourage you to be transparent and follow up with them and see what can be done. How can your job be better? Be creative, brainstorm with your boss and see if there is a way to do that. If you've done that and there's no change, then at least you know that you did try to resolve the issues, if there are issues. Okay, enough talking by me. We need to move to our next step in our planning. And what this is, we're coming near the end. We need to shout out to those who've helped us with either our job search or our project that we're working on. And I want to thank you for being here today, for participating in this planning session. You could have chosen to spend your time in a variety of different ways. I'm honored that you are in this planning session with me right now, and that you're planning your week. We'll set the timer for 5 minutes. Again, to shout out and thank those, you can send them an email, you can send them a text message. There's a variety of ways that you can shout out. I think it's great if you can tag someone on LinkedIn here. That's a great thing to do. Or maybe you want to tag them on Facebook, whatever. But again, let's take 5 minutes to do that starting now. You have just under 2 minutes left. Who do you want to thank for helping you with your job search or your project? Take the time now to do All right, we're almost done. There will be a few minutes left for questions too at the end. If there's any last minute questions, feel free to put any comments or questions as we're wrapping this up. And I don't think I touched upon this. Well, I did. I put the link to my feedback form because I'm always looking for what can I do differently, how I can make this a better, more productive planning session for you. Please let me know. The link for my feedback form is in the comments. So if you could just take only a minute or two to give me your feedback, that would be great because it's extremely helpful. I've received great feedback so far and I need more feedback. I need your feedback. So thank you in advance. In addition to being here. And then don't forget, if you are struggling with something in your job search or in your career, you don't have to be in search mode right now. Let's get a time booked to talk one-on-one because we can be focused on that issue and get it resolved for you. All right, our last step that we have here is my dog continues to snore. He's so entertaining. Okay, the last step is give someone a smile. How often have you received a handwritten note from someone? Probably not very often. That's a good way to distinguish yourself, to distinguish you from the other candidates if you are doing a job search. And to take the time to do that is a really good thing. I'll set the timer right now as it's already 10:55. Go. Write a handwritten thank you note to someone, or maybe just to touch base even. It could be a follow-up. You've been following up with this company and you haven't received feedback. Send them a handwritten note expressing your interest in the job, why you think it would be a great fit. Less than a little over a minute, actually, not less than a minute. Let's wrap. It is 11 o'clock. The time, our time is done. I don't want to keep you over. If you do have, we could take a minute or two if anyone does have any questions. I have been monitoring the comments. I haven't seen any questions. You can always DM me here on LinkedIn as well. But the best thing to do is if you're struggling, don't struggle anymore. Let's book a time one-on-one to really focus on that issue that's slowing you down in your job search or in your career. And you can keep on moving forward then and get closer to the result that you're looking for. I hope you all have a great week. And thank you again for being here in this planning session. I'm just very honored that you're here. And it's going to be a great week. I'm really excited and I have high hopes for you as well. All right. Thanks again and take care. Have a good week.